Hello, people. Yeah, hi, people. I'm, what am I? I don't know. I have tendonitis, and see, this is what, I have, actually. It's an arm brace, which means that my wrist is basically constrained. I can still type. I can still type, but it's really bothersome because you're like, and you can move your fingers, but it kind of feels weird. And plus, there's another armband here, like, yeah, here, which means that it sort of tightens when you move, which means you're basically going to have your movements restricted. And I would have it on this arm too, because this elbow is starting to go weird. The tendonitis is mostly around this area and on this area. I try to put in on the floor on here, which is really, really handy, but it doesn't always work. Still, I have some news to tell you. First of all, I don't know if I told you this before, but I just finished all the edits I want to do for part 3, and you know what that means. Or if you don't know what that means, I'll show you what it means. Basically, what happened the other day, I stole this brace thing, but I can move around, and I can almost hold a pen. Wait, I'll show you. I can hold a pen, and sort of, if I write like that, I can write. Anyway, so I took this. These are the last couple chapters of Freak. And you can, you can see a lot of writing. There's scribbles there and there. This is one of the less scribbled pages. There's a whole bunch of them. Like this one's just like red. It was kind of crappy, and I added a couple new scenes and everything. It has OK on it written in black. So first of all, you have all. I printed all this out. It's in the reason why it's only 25 pages is because for 4 chapters. It's only 25 pages for 4 chapters. That's because I chose the font really specifically. I do not like wasting paper, because if I do use a lot of paper, then my parents start to get all crazy because, you know, paper is expensive. Ink cartridges are insane, so you don't want to do that. And so it's not double-sided. You can see this is, it's not double-sided, but I'm going to use this as scratch paper anyway for my math problems and whatnot, so I'm not too concerned about wasting that much paper. But it's in Times New Roman, font 10, and because I do want to write in between things and write little notes to myself, it is in 1.5 spacing. It's readable, and because I could do it smaller, but I don't want to push it. Anyway, so I went through that with a red pen, and it was very brutal. And I did all the edits I wanted to do. And then I went on my computer, and with this hand, I basically typed up everything, and it kind of hurt, and I don't know what to expect. I haven't read it yet, because one of the things that does hurt is if I move like this, which is the motion I needed to, or this, which is the motion I need to do if I want to go down. And I did that for the yesterday because of the edits, but still. I don't know whether it's good, and I'm afraid to look, because if it's bad and I want to edit it again, I basically re-changed the entire ending. If you don't know this, there are a lot of weird parts about freak. First of all, if you ask, what is a freak? There's like several definitions in there, just in the manuscript. You have the first definition, which is basically Sadie's, and she says it's a genetic mutation thing that people did before, and then they stopped doing it, and that's true. But it's a lot more complicated, because when we go to chapter 7, we realize, oh, Sadie's father tells a story about a woman who's been sent away, who is a politician's wife, and she's not supposed to be sent away because, you know, she's a politician's wife, but she gets sent away anyway, because as a freak, because of a political thing. So we realize, oh crap, that being a freak doesn't actually mean that you have to be genetically mutated. And as Claude later points out, Claude being another character, you probably don't know what I'm saying, but all these are characters, and he later points out that most of the population has been genetically mutated. It's just some genetic mutations are acceptable and some aren't. So that's the thing that's going on. And his definition of a freak is somebody who does not have a name. And that's it. And at first you think, well, you know, duh, because freaks don't have names, but there are some characters in there that do not have names, ever. Like Sadie's father. He's still known as Sadie's father. And he's never known as anything else. Except for, like, the Master and Sir, but, you know, it's like, do you really consider those names? If you do, please tell me. Anyway, and there's another definition that Sadie's father comes up with. He thinks the label freak is just, it's just a label. People get labeled and it just for kicks, basically. Or not, it's not that, it's not straight shooting. It's not that simple, but that's basically what he thinks. And then you have Edward. He's a character who actually got recently added. Recently as in the last couple months. In the summer. Added. And I realized, oh, the summer, that's a couple of months, so he's not new, but it's been a work in progress for about seven years now. So, he's a relatively new character, and he's Daniel's father, actually. He's a very interesting guy. I think he's kind of weird. He has this strange, he's very smart. He has a strange way of looking at things. And that helps the ending come together, because at first Edward was not there. The ending was sort of like, she's a freak. Oh my gosh, she has magical powers. So I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, and it was really, really bad. And then I changed it so that, oh, she has magical powers, but she's still injured and whatnot. It's like, this still is really bad. So now it's a lot more realistic, because she doesn't get, like, powers from God or anything. She has to do it on herself. And she can't do it all herself. She has to rely on actual people, not just people like showing up and like, oh, I'm there, but people who make sense being there, them showing up there. So that's interesting. And then you have the whole, symbolism and the colors coming in together. And then finally the bird symbolism. It's pretty cool. I think I like it. I'm not sure. There's one thing of Claude's that I don't know about. Claude is somewhat evil, somewhat not. He is a politician who wants perfection in everything, but he himself is not perfect. And his want of perfection versus his realization that there is imperfection out there is what's basically screwing himself up. He wants to be, he's been accepted by the freak in multiple different ways, but I'm not sure whether he's going to accept the freak when he has the chance to. And part of me says yes, he would, because, you know, that's him. But part of me says no, he wouldn't. He would never do that, because he is incapable of accepting anything beyond his realm of perfection. So I'm not quite sure about that. I'm not sure whether he lives or whether he dies. Right now I think I have him disappearing in a minute, but that's probably going to change, because I do that all the time. So I finished the edits that I wanted to do. That doesn't mean it's done. But I might just give up on it anyway. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. So that's the news I have. And I've been working on some other stories. Handwriting, because that's a little bit easier than typing. And wait, what have I done? I'm working on whether I should do brains or unicorn killers, but that's a whole nother subject of its own. And then I'm also working on swans, which is weird because, you know, I won't really work on swans, and then I'm starting to do that. And it's slightly weird because I have this whole prologue scene on there. And it's interesting, but I'm not sure what's going to happen in swans, just as I'm not sure what happens in unicorns, just as I'm not sure what happens in brains. So, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we'll see.